Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on providing liquidity with Yield Protocol version 2. The goal of the Yield Protocol is to make fixed-rate borrowing and lending a fundamental building block of decentralized finance. This short video will show you the process of providing liquidity with Yield. When you provide liquidity in Yield, you earn fees from borrowers and lenders. As you can see from up top, you can see the Yield app allows you to accomplish 3 actions: borrowing, lending, and pooling your assets. In this tutorial, we will focus on the pooling process. Before we get started, make sure you are using a browser with MetaMask installed, or you have a wallet that is Wallet Connect enabled. We will show borrowing with MetaMask, but the process with Wallet Connect is similar. Pooling on the Yield protocol is a very simple process. You choose the asset you want to provide as liquidity, and you review and initiate the transaction. The first step is selecting the base asset. You can provide liquidity to earn fees in USDC and DAI. Once you've selected the asset, you can indicate the amount of liquidity you wish to provide. During the beta, debt limits may limit the amount of liquidity you may provide. The protocol will use up the amount indicated, but may take less depending on protocol conditions. After entering an amount, you may select the strategy you wish to provide liquidity to. A strategy supports one yield liquidity pool at a time. Once the maturity date is reached, strategies automatically roll over your assets from one pool to a later pool with no user intervention needed. There are various liquidity strategies that roll over in a predetermined method. For example, the 3-month pool will roll over to the nearest dated pool every quarter. The 6-month pools roll over every 6 months. Something to take into consideration: when selecting a strategy, you want to select one with a date that corresponds closely to how long you expect to provide liquidity. Now that we've chosen an asset and strategy, let's click Next Step to review and initiate the transaction. When providing liquidity, you need to provide the base asset and the Phi token. There are 2 different ways to get the Phi tokens you need for you to provide both assets to the marketplace. On this page, you have the option to select from 2 pooling methods. Pay close attention to the pooling method you select because this decision has some consequences. The buy and pool method is best for users adding small amounts of liquidity to a pool. This approach allows you to go to the pool itself and buy the Phi tokens you need to provide liquidity. This method minimizes gas costs while maximizing the amount of tokens received. The borrow and pool method is recommended for users adding significant amounts of liquidity to a pool. This approach allows you to use the base asset you have to borrow the Phi token from the protocol itself. Although more gas is required, this method will not impact the current interest rate for the current series. In certain cases, only one method may be available when pooling in certain strategies. For example, if you are providing large amounts of liquidity, you may only be able to borrow and pool your Phi tokens because you are providing past a certain level. The interface will not allow you to buy that much amount of Phi tokens. The only proper way to provide the liquidity you want to provide is to borrow and pool. Once the method is selected, you will review and initiate your transaction. This shows the amount you want to pool, the strategy you selected, and the strategy ownership. If the information is correct, click Pool to submit your transaction to the network. Once the transaction is successful, a vault is created and will pop up on the lower right corner of the page. You may click on the strategy to manage it. This page shows your strategy token balance, ownership, and value. Right below this are position actions, where this allows you to remove your liquidity. Generally, you should be able to remove your liquidity at any time. There you have it, the process of providing liquidity with Yield. To get started, please visit our website at yieldprotocol.com, and we look forward to seeing you in a future video.